The Crystal of Three Minds, a Halloween fever dream of art, risk, and the minds that shape music. It started with the vaccine. I'd volunteered for a clinical trial of a new COVID shot. The day was ordinary, the night was not. Fever rose like a second sun, and with it came a clarity that felt almost musical. Edges sharpened, shadows lengthened, and memory began to compose itself into scenes. I was in the back seat of a battered Romanian Dacia with three musicians, Jan Lisiecki, Vasily Petrenko, and Ilya Ram, a trio no itinerary would ever put together, and yet there we were, riding a thin black ribbon through the Carpathian dark. The fuel light burned a stubborn orange. Fog stitched the pines into one long, wavering wall. Headlights found more mist than road. No one spoke for a time. The car smelled like damp wool and old oil. The road kept curving, like a phrase refusing to resolve. Ahead, a single window burning red through rain, the light rocking as if it were a lantern carried by an unseen hand. A sign swung on iron hooks, Madame Zora, sight unclouded. Beneath it, smaller, unpainted letters, payment in cash. "We're almost out of fuel," said Ilya, calm, practical. "Then we go in," said Vasily, decisive. "At worst, a phone. At best, a story." Jan glanced through the fogged pane. "Or both," he said, smiling with the composed patience of someone who likes to understand the room before he decides where to sit. Inside, the air smelled of incense, dark, resinous, faintly metallic. Velvet curtains thick as stage drapes sealed off whatever the wind wanted. Layered rugs muffled our steps. Candles hunched in colored glasses. At the center was a wooden table worked black with age, and upon it, a crystal globe that looked like frozen lightning. She appeared through a bead curtain as if stepping out of smoke, Madame Zora. Her robes were deep red, patterned with silver coins that clicked faintly as she moved. "Musicians," she said. "Travelers," Vasily answered, with little petrol. Zora placed the crystal between us. "Empty your minds, not a thought, not a note." The house creaked. "No," she said gently. "You are as loud as rain. Since you cannot be empty, we shall be honest. I will read what you are already saying." She turned first to Jan. "You carry stillness the way some carry a prayer." His calm felt deliberate, not passive, the kind that checks the exits. "I try to be present when I play," he said softly. "If I get too analytical, I lose the joy. But if my mind wanders, the audience wanders with it." He smiled faintly. "Sometimes I catch myself thinking about dinner. It means I'm comfortable, but I don't stay there. You see outcomes before you act," Zora said. "You respect risk because you know what it costs." Jan nodded. "Music found me," he said. "I try to choose well once it does." Then she faced Vasily. "You stand in 3 times. At once." He laughed. "When I conduct, I live in 3-time dimensions, the sound in my mind, the sound I hear, and the current between. I try to bring them together." "And when the mind slips?" she asked. "I don't allow it," he said. "Control and surrender together, or it becomes only technique." "Bold," she said approvingly. "You lead by clarity as much as gesture." The crystal pulsed faintly in rhythm with his breath. At last she turned to Ilya. "You try to think of nothing by attending to everything." He grinned. "Guilty. I practice mindfulness. If something goes wrong, I move on. I don't feed the mistake." "Attention without teeth," she said. "You adjust until words become necessary, and even then you use them like salt." Zora placed her hands on the crystal. "Good. Keep your hands joined. Since you cannot be empty, we will let the mind paint. The smoke thickened, the candles leaned, and the crystal took light the way water takes the sky. The table fell away. We sat in a hall made of forest, trunks arching into a green vault. Jan's fingers hovered over a birch keyboard, each choice reshaping the forest slightly. Every possible phrase altered the space until one path steadied beneath him. Presence is a discipline, Zora's voice said from nowhere. Your courage is deliberation. Then the vision shifted. Vasily stood in a stone hall where 3 orchestras played, past, present, future. He listened to each, bridging them through attention. The echoes aligned, imperfect but alive. Control and release, whispered Zora. Your boldness is a tension that refuses to look away. Finally, Ilya's vision, a city square alive with countless hands, kneading dough, braiding hair, brushing dust. Each motion carried music. Most hands move by habit, Zora said. You choose to move on purpose. Ilya smiled quietly, and the crowd seemed to breathe with him. Back in the chamber, Zora spoke. Hands joined. Breathe together. Now play the piece with no name. There were no instruments, yet music happened. Jan allowed risk in as weather. Vasily balanced 3 dimensions in a single breath. Ilya steadied energy without force. The crystal bloomed from frost to ember, showing 3 faces at once. Zora nodded. You have heard yourselves from the outside, carry it. Her voice softened. Artists are not empty. Your minds are made of architecture. You do not merely think about music, you are what music thinks with. No one argued. Leave what you owe in the brass bowl, she added cheerfully. The forest eats card charges. We laughed, and the laughter felt like release. Outside, rain had gentled to mist. The Daisha waited. Did that happen? Ilya asked. Enough of it, Jan said. Vasily turned the key, the engine coughed and caught. A story, he said. A story, I agreed. We drove until the GPS rejoined the living. Behind us, the house was dark. 1 star hung above the ridge, refusing to fade. I woke in my own bed, the fever gone, notebook on the pillow. In my handwriting, be present, risk is the price of life. You are what music thinks with. 3 time dimensions, mind, room, current. Attention without teeth, energy high. In daylight the dream felt impossible yet useful, like a rehearsal that reveals meaning only in concert. I think of Jan when choices crowd the path, Vasily when attention wants to drift, and Ilya when the urge to fix threatens. To drain the life from the room. Sometimes I remember Zora's sleeve brushing my wrist and her smoky voice, empty your minds, or fill them correctly. I don't know if we found her house or only the idea of it. But sometimes, in certain halls, when attention is clean and risk is honest, the music feels less like something we make and more like something that thinks through us. And if the final silence feels wider than it should, perhaps that is the Carpathian night keeping its promise, or Halloween's gift, a little dread, a little grace, and, if we're lucky, a light in the woods when the tank is nearly empty, calling us in to hear what we already knew.